Alright. Once I actually get into this, I might find some more items that need taken care of, but just thinking about it and making a list, the things I'm going to have to unbolt from this subframe are the radius rods and the radius rod bushings. I mean, the radius rods just because they go through the bushing. It's not like I can take this off and leave the radius rod hanging there, but radius rod bushings, the lower control arms, the power steering line retainers there, the engine mounts, which are going to be right there, the rack. I don't really know how that's going to go. Maybe I'll unbolt it and pull it out that direction and then put a couple of jack stands under it just to hold it up there so I don't stress the lines too much, or I don't know, something. Let's see, radius rods and bushings, power steering lines, steering rack, LCAs, engine mounts, okay, the stabilizer bar brackets, and then obviously the skid plate, which I've already taken off. So yeah, I guess there's nothing stopping me from going ahead and doing this. Now before I actually start taking the bolts out that mount this to the body, I think what I'm going to do is support it with an engine hoist, which might make it a little bit harder for me to get under here because of the legs of the hoist. But I don't like the idea of putting a jack under the oil pan. All I had to see was one post on the forum of a guy that broke his oil pan doing that, and that was all I needed to see. So yeah, I guess there's no reason not to start unbolting crap, so get straight to it. 15/16. That fits good enough. Okay, so if I recall from the previous video, this bolt is factory, and then on the other side they just used some bolt. It's way too long, it doesn't have the right size head, so I'm gonna get 2 new sets of bolts for these lower control arms, I think. There we go. See, that is definitely not what the other one looked like, so very strange. There we go. I don't really want that ball joint to just hang there. I guess that won't hurt anything. This will be almost impossible to see from up here, but there's a air conditioner line in the way of the sway bar bracket on this side, so I'll probably just wait until I've got this thing lowered down somewhat and just get it from down there. I guess I'll do the rack next, and I think it's just got these 2 bolts. One going up there with a nut on the other side, and then one down here. Alright. Doesn't seem like it wants to go any further than right there. And I'm guessing that's because we've got these hard, I don't know if you can even see that, but there's these hard lines plumbed to it at the top there. So maybe we'll just stop right there and wait till we're actually pulling the subframe. We'll just pull the subframe down and away. It'll make it a little bit tricky installing the new one, but we'll just see what happens when we get to it, and then I'll have to figure out how because I've got a new poly mount for this. I don't know why. It's probably kind of stupid, but whatever. All right. Okay, so this sneaky little bastard right here was hiding in here. I think we're safe to start pulling bolts out of the subframe and getting that thing out of there. Now, as mentioned before, that's going to suck working around that hoist, but I guess it would have sucked working around a jack too. It's just part of it. So, alright. Okay, let's see how this goes. That was kind of hard to do. Alright, well, whatever. Came out a little easier. I'm going to leave that loose. Well, I'm going to take it all the way out. Okay, the whole thing's coming down. I'll tell you what, I'm going to, at the very least, I'm going to get some jack stands under this thing. Or are they even going to be tall enough? Probably not. Okay, the whole engine is lowering down, so I think we need to lift it up more. Okay. Alright. Very good, very good. So now okay, there we go. Much better. So there's that one. Okay, well, you're still going, so let's see what happens here. All right. Alrighty. Well, that's everything disconnected from the thing, I think. I hope. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this bolt out and see if I can get this whole thing to pivot forward off of that final bolt, because this is the part of the rack that's still being held in. See what happens there. So I'm not even under it right now, so it's not going to fall on me. Alright. Oh, the engine mounts are still in. Okay. The rack is out. This is hanging off that final bolt over there. Alright, I'm going to shimmy over there, take that bolt out. The rack is not going to fall down, so I'm going to get these out of here. I don't think it is it? What's that rack going to do in that part? Alright, that's not my favorite thing in the world, but... Okay, I'll just brace this thing with my body. It's definitely not the least bit dangerous, so don't worry. Alright, that's that. bolt to come out of there. And there's that. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Okay, so here's the old subframe, which has been promised to Dark Fox, aka not Hubert J. Farnsworth, compared to the good used one from eBay. It's definitely a lot cleaner. It's definitely a lot less mangled. So now we get a real good look at this high quality repair job here. I don't know. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I'm gonna feel a lot better having a real good, solid, original subframe. You know, that's what it's supposed to look like. So, yeah, that looks pretty good. Pretty happy with this. I never dreamed I'd make this much progress on this. So yeah, I guess I'll try to wrestle that up into place now, and then if possible, this is the point where I'm not sure what you would do. If you're doing a front stabilizer bar, do you literally take the whole subframe out just to do that, or do you unbolt whatever you need to unbolt from the front so that it swings down just enough to get some clearance to pull the sway bar out from the front, or snake it out from the side, or I have no idea what. So okay, here goes nothing. I'm going to attempt to get this thing up into place and basically put it on just like I just took the other one off, and then I'll see if I can somehow get that sway bar out of there with it in place. Obviously, here's what's stupid. The smart thing to do would be to just get that sway bar out of here and put the new one in, and then put the subframe in, but I want this to at least be somewhat useful for other people if they want to do a front sway bar, and I want to see if you were going to do a front sway bar, could you just loosen enough things in the front so that the subframe could lower down enough to where you could snake this out of there and you wouldn't have to take it completely off like this. And so I'm going to try to make this, you know, useful for someone who just wants to do a sway bar. So I don't know, maybe that's stupid, but and if I put it up there and this doesn't work and I end up having to take it back off because that's just what you have to do when you're doing a front sway bar on these, then so be it. Oh good, I bet you got a really good view of that. Well, whatever. I got that started. Let me go ahead and try this jack stand out. The whole thing needs to go back about 1.5 inches, it looks like. Which I think it can do. Alright, so the two back bolts are in, very loose. The steering rack is at least in these tabs, so I can line that up later. Quick side note, I bought a new mount, a poly mount for the rack, but it looks to me like you've got the bracket that it mounts on, the whole thing slides off the end, which means the boot has to come off. You have to unbolt the thing, the outer tie rod end from the knuckle. And I'm not doing all that. I don't know why I'm not doing that. I'll sell that later or do it some other time, or I don't know, but I'm not going to do that right now. The rack is good. We got the rear bolt started. So now let's see about trying to snake that sway bar out of there.